First, I want to go ahead and introduce, for those of you who don't know, I think we've only got one here, but I want to introduce the Tri-Chairs that will carry on forward. Steve Capel with Medtronic, Fergal McRory with St. James, and Scott Mooney. Scott, put up your hand. Scott here with McKesson. And I think this is a tremendous grouping of Tri-Chairs because we really have representation from among the largest manufacturer in the world, a leading healthcare provider, and one of the largest distribution companies in the world. So this is terrific. And I also want to emphasize that we have an excellent leadership team that helps to drive and support the work that's done by the Healthcare Initiative. So on to what I take as really the tremendous strength that we have in the compatible cultures between the healthcare industry, the doctors, the nurses, the medical administrators, the med-surg, and the U.S., or rather the GS1 population that I've enjoyed working with so much. And so I've put down a few ideas that struck me about the compatibility of those cultures. Looking at the healthcare side, driven, and we hear this here, we hear this when we go to our own doctors or our own colleagues in our hospitals, if we come from the healthcare delivery, that insistent focus on the patient, on the quality of treatment. And we recognize, they recognize, that that delivery depends on the availability of the supplies needed to do the testing, to do the treatment. And the more traditional supply chain-oriented GS1 colleagues, driven by a focus on supply availability and understanding and respecting the importance of patient safety. So in those first two bullets, I see a kind of symmetry. Let's look at the rest of them. I contend that for both groups, for all of us here in this room, that we're more driven or equally driven by mission as we are by job. That we're collaborative puzzle solvers. Certainly in the medical arena, taking care of my health, your mother's ailment, the complexity, the problem solving is evident. And I think here, listening to the intricacies and the needs of being able to go ahead and track that number through the system to the point where it's relevant really illustrates that collaborative puzzle solving issue that we all deal with in the supply chain. Demonstrable outcomes. We can tell whether we got it right or not. The product is there, it's not. The patient is recovering, he or she is not. Adopting the best practices. I was going to say shameless, but I think we're honorable in our looking at our colleagues' work and saying, damn, that's a great innovation, we'll do it too. And we're evidence-based. Really, it's where the five rights come together that this compatible, collaborative culture connects. So maybe there's some things that we should avoid. I think there are. I think maybe on the healthcare side, we don't want to deny, and in fact I've been electrified over the past couple of days by the willingness of several people to identify publicly the need for supply availability improvement. And so on the healthcare side, we can't deny that. We have to articulate the problem before we can address it. And I mean, we've heard talks about this here yesterday as well. There is a fear of an automatonic, mindless scanning, but that's really not the hallmark of what we're doing when we're working in the supply chain. What we're doing is we're taking advantage of that collaborative puzzle solving. Likewise, on the GS1, the supply chain side, hiding behind technology is not going to advance what we're doing. And deafness, failure to hear, what are the human concerns and those patient safety issues will destroy what is that collaborative and consonant culture. Again, I'd say the other risks are really just straight out the same risks. Don't puzzle solve in a collaborative fashion. Don't focus on outcomes and hold your feet to the fire in accountability. Don't adopt the best practices that you see others using. Don't be evidence-based. Those are exactly the things that don't characterize our characters and the very things that we want to avoid. In other words, avoid not embracing our compatible cultures. So what should we do? Well, the list is probably long, but a few that struck me are, number one, to advocate, but not just to advocate. I think listening, and listening with passion, compassion, is probably as important or more important than the advocacy. I'm all for the advocacy. Marianne, be brave. Be brave about our problem solving and be bold about it. We are inherently, and Noosh, you've illustrated this tremendously, we have to be risk takers here. We have the reverse Three Stooges problem. We have to be risk takers. And GS1, I think in so many ways, is just right where it needs to be. But communicate our successes, and we've heard those, and we see those. We see those in the case studies, on the awards. I applaud that so deeply. Collaborate on the step-by-step. Again, I think we've heard that a lot over the past few days, that if you can't, you don't have to try for the 100% win. Take that first step. And this is one that I think is real important and may not be fully recognized on the medical side. And that is, we have a sea change coming at us in terms of the use of GS1 labels on products, on medical devices, and on medicines. In the next 2 or 3 years, we'll be seeing billions and billions of units that have the GTIN in a 2D data matrix. The basis for our use of GS1 standards is becoming a reality. It's in a cascade, in a tidal wave. So again, be bold and take advantage of that. Plan for it. Take that step now. And the fundamental point, we're embarked on this imagine journey, imagining one world, one standard, one vision to improve patient safety. So I want to shift now to thank yous, and I'd love if the global staff can get up, Eureka and the rest of the team. I want to go ahead. We thank you year in, year out. You're marvelous in what you do. And I think David is coming up to, and as he's coming up, I want to acknowledge really 2 other people. One is Miguel. because I was so pleased at how Miguel introduced the session 2 days ago, and recognizing the quality and the impact that the healthcare initiative is having. And the other person that I want to recognize is Mike Wallace. Mike is a co-chair, a tri-chair, was a tri-chair as well, who stepped back during the summer. And so I'd like to just go ahead and give a round of applause recognizing. And I can just say thank you so much to our hosts, and I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, actually, I think it's not really me or as the whole. Of course, GS1 Hungary was very honored to host this event, but I think we owe a special thanks to one of our special colleagues, and she's called Sofia. She did the hard work in the last 5 months, and I can guarantee you that if we had not had her, then this event would have not happened in the right or in a way that actually you experienced. So I would like to invite Sofia to the stage, because we have here something.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was our pleasure to host you here in our beautiful city, and thank you for all of you to attend this beautiful event. And I hope you could gather lots of new stories to share in the future. So I hope you enjoyed this whole week, both personally and professionally, and you are always welcome again here in Budapest. Thank you.
So thank you, safe travels, see you in Dubai, and let the music rip.